The OSSAA Board of Directors met today, and they came out with guidelines when it comes to NIL, name, image, likeness, and everyone's very familiar with that terminology now associated with college football. Oklahoma now joins about 17, 18 other states out there with NIL guidelines, and it came out today, and you guys went over them just before the show, but I'm going to read some of them, and I get your guys' thoughts here. This was released by the OSSAA. The OSSAA does not specifically prohibit students from engaging in certain commercial activities as an individual. These activities, commonly referred to as name, image, and likeness, NIL, will not put a student's amateur status at risk, provided the student meets all the requirements for maintaining amateur status in compliance with Rule 5, and there's no violations of rules prohibiting influencing a student to attend or remain a member of the school. So you can't say, hey, here's a new card, just come over here to this school.
Yeah, and I think, listen.
That's good.
That's good. But I think there's, I mean, that's good. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that direct towards the OSSAA. I think they did the right thing. You've got to
get ahead of it.
Yeah, you got to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Administratively, and just, and I said this off the air, but I believe ultimately this could be decided by the legislators, because you've seen that in some states. Texas legislation took a approach, and that was the whole reason why Quinn Ewers left early from high school, went to Ohio State. Of course, now he's back at Texas.
Yep.
But, this is a big deal. I mean, there's a big deal. You can make an argument, should this be in high school sports? Well, should it or should it not really doesn't have anything to do with it. It's here, and you've got to deal with it. Yep. So, I don't, and I think we have differencing of opinions on NIL overall.
I understand it. I don't like it.
Right.
I get it.
Yep.
I don't want any part of it, but I get it. Doesn't mean I might not have an NIL deal next week.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, we've already talked about NIL.
We've already talked about it.
Yeah, we've already got 3 on the board.
It just feels dirty a little bit.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. It just doesn't feel right.
Paying a high school kid to.
Well, you got rules that say to maintain amateur status, you cannot receive compensation, right?
So is a ex-quarterback going to just promote your brand and just bring more people, more business to your door?
I will tell you this. I think certain products.
High school. Yeah.
I know that, but I think certain products. Yes.
Hot dogs. I mean, I hear OU and OSU players.
Hats. I think hats. I think gym memberships. I think, like your supplement stores.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that. I think that kind of stuff with the other kids. Because think about it, people, they get their trends, they make their decisions based on what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think it could have an effect on a local level. I really do.
I'm sure I'm the old guy now, but when I see a kid wearing a gym membership hat or gym hat, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make me want to go to the gym and get me signed up because the starting running back.
Well, just for the record, nothing makes me want to go to the gym. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So huge move-ins, transfers, whatever you want to call them, happen in this off season, right? Yep. So if the same thing happens next year, if it's worse with all these people moving, is that kind of stuff going to be investigated by the OSSAA just to make sure that this rule was not broken about, hey, here's your car, come to this school? I mean, is that going to be investigated now?
I don't think anything that's brought forward to the OSSAA like this now, it will be looked at.
But that stuff would be looked at now.
Correct. Absolutely.
I mean, so I think maybe you look closer.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at Shaker over, went from Jinx to Union.
If he goes to Bixby next year, they're gonna throw flags, right?
But before he
there's a flag. I mean, I'm sure they looked at that.
But I'm sure they did, because before he went to Union, his dad was on the campus of Bixby. If it wasn't for a terrible decision by administrative personnel. No, I'm joking. But so listen. Now it was a bona fide move. It was.
Oh, yeah.
That was all looked into.
Legit, yep.
So they followed the rules, and that's fine. But I think anytime money gets involved, you're adding a layer of potential problems.
Well, you brought that in. So here's some of the guidelines as well. The compensation is not contingent on specific athletic performance or achievement. So if you score, you don't get $500 for every touchdown you get.
But isn't that kind of obvious that you're not getting the NIL deal because you do a great job in biology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the letter. I mean, I get it. And you got to have those things. And there's nobody out there that doesn't believe that the only reason kids potentially are going to get NIL deals is if they're scoring touchdowns, intercepting passes, throwing touchdown passes, doing a great job pitching in softball, doing a great job pitching in baseball. You know, they're making a lot of points in basketball, whatever it is. Yeah. You know, it's not because they're great students.
So
that's not why they're doing it.
Let me get through these guys, other two real quick, because I have something that came to my mind as well. The compensation is not provided as incentive to enroll or remain enrolled at a specific school. I mean, you can put that. Yeah. The compensation is not provided by the school or any person acting as an agent for the school. So somebody outside. It couldn't be the principal. It couldn't be the counselor. It has to be someone not associated with the school. In seeking compensation for name, image, and likeness, no marks may be used, including but not limited to school logo, school name, school mascot, or any trademark OSSAA logo or acronyms. So that gym membership can't have a Bellevue ABZ.
Could they wear if they're a high school kid, can they wear an OSU or an OU hat? I don't think there's anything. That's not a violation. It's just a kid wearing a hat. I mean, I bet KU sales go way up on hats.
No school apparel or equipment shall be worn, which includes school name, school logo, school mascot, or apparel displaying trademark OSSAA logos or acronyms. No, I don't know why they would. No member school facility may be used for the purpose of NIL compensation. No activities in conflict with a member school's local school district policy may be endorsed. Examples include but are not limited to tobacco or alcohol products. You can't do that anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And then collegiate level associations should be contacted for any rules regarding NIL likeness student participating beyond the high school level.
Let's slide that over to the college level.
So my question is, if X business wants to do a deal with Y player, is that between him and the player and his family? Not between.
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
And the only reason I know this is, as you know, I called a university or actually, I said, hey, can I just call and say, that's not how you do it.
Sorry. It's a third-party thing.
Hey, thank God it worked out that way.
In college, they have to go, if you want to deal with a college player, you have to go to the college to their,
Now, that is something real quick, Chris. We talk about it, the NIL deals. Remember, you're assigning your company's name to a kid.
Yeah.
And there's
a lot of risk.
There's real risk. I mean, we've seen it.
Kids are kids still.
We've seen it here in the state of Oklahoma where some, law enforcement's been involved. They've been kicked off the team. They've got all this stuff. And, so you run it. There's a risk in doing that.
Real quickly, the small print here. After extensive research and diligence, the OSSAA has selected Ecker Sports as their partner to provide NIL, education, guidance, and support to the organization and our stakeholders across the state. Ecker Sports is the national leader in providing these services and have partnerships with 10 other states, including Texas, Louisiana, New York, Massachusetts, Mississippi, among others. On a statewide basis, Ecker has partnered with the Bedford Agency, led by Brian Bedford, who is a longtime friend and associate of the OSSAA and someone well known in sports circles around the state. Brian will provide a personal touch to the relationship, act as a liaison between the parties, and support the activations of various NIL educational programs Ecker provides throughout the state. And that was a complete release there by the OSSAA.
Yeah, I think, to put a bow on this with the NIL, I mean, to me, it's necessary the OSSAA did this. It's going to open up. I promise you there will be controversy at some point because of this.
Yep.
It's coming. It's not if, it's when.
It's any rule, in general.
Yeah. And there will be people that will try to manipulate the system. And I'm not saying kids. I think most of the manipulation is going to come from the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And, we just got to be diligent. And I think people in the community's got to pay attention to it with their student athletes to make sure they're getting good guidance. Because what you don't want to have happen is a high school kid, due to just lack of understanding, does something and then costs them their eligibility at the next level.
Yeah.
And that could happen.
Yeah.
And I think you get caught up in the NIL, like Ubers and all these other players getting $2-3 million.
Right.
The USC quarterback getting these deals. Well, a lot of these deals are
$100, $200, free tacos for your senior year at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I'd like to get that deal. I just thought about that. That would be a bad deal.
His brain just went, wait a minute.
Who's in charge of marketing? Oh, that's
free taco right over here.
So another question I got. Okay, talk about the college. You obviously you can do it at the college level. Well, people who have committed to colleges, will their college come down and say, hey, let's be smart here. Let's not do anything drastic, and then
That's none of their business.
We'll give you. I know, but will they interfere in that kind of talk? Will they try to talk them out of doing deals at the high school level? Say, look, just stay on the radar, be good, and then we'll take care of you when you get up here.
I'd say based on what we've seen already across the country, no.
I
mean, because literally you were assigned a $1.2 million deal in high school, I think it was.
Who?
The kid that's at Texas now.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was just over $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million.
Well, I tell you, and
you can tell me whatever you want. I'm 17. You give me $1 million. I'm gonna say, okay, coach, I'll give that.
Most of them will take
what
$50.
Doc say? I'll give that the
consideration.
The consideration it deserves.
Most high school kids, you give them $50 in a candy bar, they'll say yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'll use his name because he's no longer a high school student. But say a year ago, Jackson Holiday, the number one player in the state of Oklahoma, number one draft pick.
Yeah.
He missed out.
I mean, we're talking not your. In your normal town, your local mom and pop.
No, it'll be national stuff.
It would be like Nike or Under Armour, someone like
whoever.
that. Yeah.
And and that's an interesting.
To get the early advantage after he becomes a high school.
Agencies.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, there would be all kinds of. There's a whole plethora of stuff that's opened up now to these kids.
I don't like it, but I understand
it.
Kids gonna have to grow up fast with this NIL stuff now.
Well, and what worries me, it's not the kids that get good counsel at home; it's the kids that have no counsel at home.
Yeah.
And doing something innocently that they just think, well, they said it's okay.
Yeah.
And again, my worry is it
too,
costs kids eligibility. It costs kids opportunity to get their school paid for and to do things after high school. So that's why I say in the communities, all of us that's all of us who pay attention to what's going on with our kids' lives in our community, not just our own kids, we need to be extra diligent and try to help give them good counsel along the way, to talk to people that know, right? Yeah. And a good fallback is if you don't know, make a phone call.
Yeah.
Just make a phone call. If you don't know,
if
that deal's there now, it'll be there tomorrow. Make a phone call.
Well, that wraps up our NIL discussion. I'm sure as more examples come out, we will definitely follow up on that. But that is the latest with NIL.
We'll have a few breaking high school huddles
here
in the future.
Text, boys. We're going on the air in 10 minutes.
Yeah.